So I am going to talk a little bit about Control.
Yeah, please do. I saw a bunch of people tweeting about it, and it looked really, really good. So I'm happy to hear.
Yeah, so I played on PC, and Control it's very similar to almost Quantum Break. Did you ever play Quantum Break?
I've never played that. No.
So man, it's hard to explain. It's like it's a third person kind of shooter, but you also have like abilities, and it's a really, really interesting, unique experience. And in Control, like even if I tried to explain to you what the storyline was, there's no way I could. It is just like an absolute mindfuck, super paranormal.
It's awesome.
But it was a lot of fun, and the character skills that you get, like the abilities and the animations and the sound design. Like there's a scene in Control that might be one of my favorite video game scenes ever. Like no joke. And if you play it, you will totally know what scene I'm talking about. But the gameplay is it's just so fun. Like you feel like a true badass. A lot of people said it was very similar to, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. There's a game series on the PlayStation. I never actually played it. I can't think of what it's called right now. Infamous. Infamous. That's what it is. People are saying it is very similar to Infamous. So, I'm not going to, obviously I don't want to dive in too much because I don't want to spoil anything, but Control is definitely one of those games that it wasn't really on my radar. Like I think I saw a teaser for it at one point and I was like, oh yeah, that looks all right. But I played it on PC, through the Epic Games launcher. It's exclusive. I actually played it on PC and I used, DX12 with ray tracing enabled. And the game has the most incredible lighting I've ever seen. Like you will walk through lights, and it actually feels like you're passing through lights. Like you can actually see the rays from the light sources.
Sick.
I did have some hitching, it caused some hitching and some frame drops at times. And I heard that if you play on DX11 without ray tracing, it fixes all that. But for a single player experience, I don't need it to be perfect FPS wise. And it was one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. Like it was super pretty.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I'm a real sucker for the whole paranormal magic type games, man.
You gotta play it,
dude. If I can find, if somebody could please go ahead and add about 7 hours to each day, I might get around to it.
Yeah, it is. It was a hefty boy. I beat it in 2 sittings. I did 5 hours. I did 5 hours one day and then 6 hours the next day. So it took me about 11 hours to beat it.
Decent game.
Yeah, it's not too short, but it's also not like a grindy 20-hour experience. So it was nice. It was a good game to play. Obviously, us playing Man of Medan. Man of Medan came out.
Dude, I thought it was awesome.
Dude, I did too. I mean, obviously, it was a little, some of the voiceovers were a little funky. There was times. But for the most part, to make a game like Until Dawn and make it a co-op experience, amazing.
I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much by myself. Yeah. And the only gripe I have about it is that it was $40 for a 4.5 hour game, 5 hour game, if that.
Yeah. And apparently the next episode is going to also be a 30 or 40. Oh wait, it was $40? I thought I paid $30 for it.
I think it was $39.99.
Was it? Maybe you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, the game itself was so creative. It was so much fun. The story was good, and I mean, it was a little wonky, getting into it.
I felt like the story was a little predictable. Like halfway through, I felt like I truly understood what was going on. I mean, granted, we still had some hiccups along the way, but I did actually feel like I knew what was going on pretty quickly. So I feel like the story could have been a little stronger, but I do like I want more of those games. Like co-op, me and my buddy making decisions. If you do something, it can affect my game and vice versa, and we can kill characters together. Woohoo! That's the stuff I like.
Super creative was that we were playing out the exact same scenario.
Yeah.
But having completely different viewpoints. And I can't say much more on that without spoiling stuff. But the fact that we were going through the same thing, but it was the exact same thing, but it was so different for each of our perspectives was the coolest thing to me. Yeah. It was so cool.
It was a good experience. I definitely suggest playing it with a friend. If you think that you're not going to end up playing it, Vern and I both played it. We recorded it. Are you uploading it to YouTube? Okay,
sure.
so we're both
sure.
uploading it to our YouTubes. It's my perspective, and it's actually one of those games that is better if you watch from both perspectives.
Oh,
like
dude,
I know a lot
saw
of people
so many times in chat.
Yeah, like if a lot of people were watching in squad stream, so they were able to see my perspective and Vern's at the same time, and it was like the most amazing experience to watch. So if you're interested, the videos are there. So
yeah.
Maybe you can line them up.
When I was saying how the scenarios were. Yeah, like different, but same, but different kind of thing. And like the squad stream, like really came through clutch with that. Like everyone was like, "Oh my goodness, you'll never believe what Goldie's going through right now." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know.
It's so good, dude." So, did you get a chance to check out the Dying Light gameplay?
No. Okay. Well, to be fair, Dying Light was never. I played a little bit.
Or Dying Light 2, technically. I'm sorry.
I played a little bit of the first one, and I played a little bit by myself, and then I played the co-op with you.
Yeah, I do remember that. Okay,
but very briefly, very briefly. I was having it was really hard on my PC at the time, I believe, and so I never really got a chance to dive into it too deeply. But feel free to like share your thoughts with it.
So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we spent a little bit watching the new Cyberpunk gameplay. They did like a deep dive stream, and they showed a bunch of new stuff, and then they also showed, and then after that, I watched Dying Light 2 gameplay, and man, both of these single player experiences are going to be so good. I'm pretty sure I'm actually not exactly sure on this. Dying Light was a co-op game, so I would hope that Dying Light 2 would be a co-op game as well. But both of these games are looking really, really good, not even graphically, but just the content they have. Dying Light, I noticed there's a section where you can make decisions and it actually alters the world. So like if you play it and you don't do something and I do it, one part of your map, like an entire area, could look different and feel different, and it could be like it could be ran by different people, like a different society. Like it's really, really interesting how it's another like choice-based game. And I think that single player experiences are really starting to kind of push that consumer narrative. Like you pick how your story plays out. Like you're going to have a different experience than this guy had because you made this decision in this moment. And I'm so glad that games are starting to kind of go that direction, because I think that's where games are truly going to like explode. Shine? Like they're going to shine like that. Like imagine in Red Dead Redemption 2, you playing a story but you making different decisions. And you know how in Red Dead Redemption 2
it affects the outcome.
Yeah, you have your huge gang. Like, right, you have like, you know how many people are in the gang in Red Dead Redemption 2, but imagine if like you had made a decision and 2 people got killed, and then in my game I made a different decision and those two people survived, but then 2 different people died, and it changed the entire like there's so many avenues and the narratives could change tremendously. So
seems like a lot more work, but it'd definitely be worth.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's more work.
That's like people would. I think one of the beauty about video games is like it's a form of entertainment that you are in control of, right? But when a story is too linear, then you kind of lose that control and you're kind of just playing through a movie rather than like actually making decisions within the movie. And I think like that, like you said, like video games could really, really shine if we're being given a slight direction, but able to make the choices ourselves that will have an actual impact on the game. That's why I'm such a huge fan of the Life is Strange series. Yeah, like that's been one of my favorite. As angsty as it is, it's one of my favorite single player series. Just because I like, especially at the end, like going through. Same with all the Telltale Rust.
No, so that's actually glad that you brought that up, because I read an article recently, and there's a studio that have picked up the rights for Wolf Among Us and Batman Telltale, and so I think both of those will be continued by another studio. It's just from what I've heard, that's just what I read. I'm not exactly sure what studio picked it up. That's really all the info I have. But I don't think Telltale is completely dead. I think it will be revived, because there's just so many gamers out there who want a game like that. I know. I know. So that's exciting. That's really exciting. So hopefully we hear a little bit more on that soon. You know, I know there was a lot of Wolf Among Us fans. I think we only got a season of Wolf Among Us, right? Or did we get 2 seasons? Only one, yeah.
I think it was only one. Yeah. Because that was the Wolf Among Us was the one where they took all of the fantasy characters and kind of like
fairy tales. Yeah.
Fairy tale characters. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That was one of the best Telltale games too.
Yeah. A lot of people really wanted. I know, brother. Dude. I know. So it should be good.
Now if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be really sad.
Well, you can blame me. Actually, you can't, because all I did was read an article. It's not my fault.
I'm going to.
It's not my fault.